going to begin with the perspective from a family that has survived perhaps the most horrible tragedy that could happen to anybody, Mr. Avi Israel.
Hello, my name is Avi Israel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how 5 minutes and 47 seconds has changed my life forever. This is my son, Michael David Israel. Michael can't be here today because Michael committed suicide on June 4th of this year. Michael took his life in our home, less than 20 feet away from where my wife and I were standing. I lost my son because of a flawed healthcare system in this state. Michael was an extremely outgoing, bright kid who excelled in school, was very artistically talented person, and it was a pleasure to have around. Michael should have been a graduate of 2012 of this institution. At the age of 12, Michael was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, which he fought vigorously for the last 8 years of his life. When his Crohn's could not be controlled by traditional medicine and multiple surgeries, some of his doctors decided to start prescribing narcotic pain medication and mood-altering drugs. This is where the current health system started to fail Michael and is failing countless of others today. A system which allowed my son to be addicted to narcotic painkillers and psychotropic drugs that were prescribed to him by several different doctors without any one doctor checking with another doctor to see what was being prescribed. Not only that, neither Michael nor us, his parents, were ever informed or made aware that these drugs were actually synthetic heroin, and the severe consequences of these drugs. That's another failure of the system. Michael had a medically and socially sanctioned drug addiction. I'm not here to point fingers at any one profession. I'm here to point fingers at the system which allowed this 20-year-old boy to get to a point where the only way out of the misery was to shoot himself in the head. In January 2011, Michael admitted to us, his parents, he was having control issue with the pain medication. We informed his physicians of the addiction and were told that at the time, I got one of those tap on the shoulders that told me I know better, that Michael needed the pain medication due to his illness. And I was assured that the medication will be monitored. In February 2011, with no other alternative, his physician performed an ileostomy. Again, while Michael was in the hospital, we notified the doctor of Michael's addiction problem. They assured us again that Michael's problem will be taken care of before he left the hospital. After a 30-day stay at the hospital, Michael was discharged with 3 prescriptions of hydrocodone. That was the answer to the problem. That's another failure. In April of 2011, Michael knew he was in deep distress and was desperate for help. His addiction was taking over him, and he did not like the person he was becoming. He wrote about it in his journal. Michael was admitted to a detox facility, and after a week's stay, was released with an opiate counselor assigned to him for outpatient therapy. 2 days later, on April 27, 2 days after being discharged from detox, Michael called his family doctor, our family doctor, and was able to get a prescription for 90 Xanax, a controlled substance. That's another failure of the system. On May 16th, Michael attempted suicide by putting himself in our garage with the car running. He sent me a text message, which I still have today. I love you, Dad. You don't deserve a son like me. Luckily, I got hold of his mother, and she was able to call him, and he answered the phone and opened the garage door. He was taken to ECMC, to the psychotic ward, and released after spending 8 hours in that ward. Again, the system has failed. Michael should have been kept there for 30 days for observation. On Saturday, June 4th, 9:50 a.m., Michael made a frightened, desperate call to an outpatient opiate counselor that he had and asked for help. After a brief phone conversation, the counselor told Michael she would see what she could do for him and call him back. It took her 5 minutes and 47 seconds to call back and advise Michael that there were no beds available. 5 minutes, 47 seconds to find out that there are no beds available. I don't even think I can put my shoes on in 5 minutes and 47 seconds. He would have to wait until Monday. This is knowing Michael's history of a previous attempted suicide and his addiction. This is another failure of the system. He handed me the phone, and I asked the counselor, what should we do? She didn't have a definite answer. She said, try ECMC or wait until Monday. Another failure of the system. Michael walked to the back of the house, locked himself in my bedroom, pulled a shotgun out, and shot himself in the head. I kicked the door open, and I held my son and watched him take his last breath. By 10:05, Michael was gone. I want to emphasize again, I'm not here to blame any doctors or any healthcare professionals. I am blaming the current system that we have, which is non-existence. I'm here participating in this conference, and I'm bearing my soul to you to try to help and prevent another parent from feeling what I and my wife are feeling today. And then I know there's a few in the audience here who feel the same way, who've lost their kids. So what we have today as a system, I'm going to borrow a line from a famous movie. What we have is a failure to communicate. What I see is a system where a patient is not the sole concern of the health caregiver. Doctors do not check to see what other medication the patient is on, and pharmacy do not communicate with each other. Nor do they communicate with the particular doctor to warn them of what combination of drug the patient is taking and who else wrote the same drug. This is a system which allows doctors with no formal, ongoing training in recognizing or treating addiction to write addictive prescriptions. We're all here today because we recognize we have a problem of epidemic proportion in this country. I urge everyone here today to please work together, come to a solution that will save other people from the same fate that have become my son, Michael. When you lose your child, you lose your future. Can we really afford to lose any more futures? In closing, I just want to invite everybody to visit Facebook. We have a group called Save the Michael of the World. I urge everyone to sign on, and hopefully we can do something and save some more Michaels. We need to. Thank you.